Hello and welcome back to Reset Podcast. I'm Tony, and as you maybe know by the sound of my voice, I am actually sick today. So this podcast won't be as long as the last two. I think we're around about an hour. We're not going to come close to that today just because I feel like crap. And really, there's not that much news going on. I don't have any guests in the studio today, so it's just me. I don't know what the hell is up with me, but I got a really bad headache, really bad earache, and high fever, and I just feel like crap. So maybe that's for the best not to have anybody here, just in case I got that, virus that's going around. But anyway, let's start off with some news out of Epic. They are suing Apple for removing Fortnite from the Apple online store. They seem to have kind of a little bit of a sense of humor about this because they have released a Joker pack, which maybe I'm reading too much into, but they're just also calling out Apple for their exorbitant mobile payment fees and just the way that they're running things with Epic Games. So they have been sued for that, and I don't really blame them. I mean, Apple has been known to just kind of take stuff off of the store for little to no reason. Last time I even talked about Apple removing shit from the store was with the Driver 1 remake for ISO. It was actually a very popular game on their store, but made by Gameloft, and they just removed it. So Apple's been known, they're kind of like the Fox of the online stores, like where something's popular, they end it prematurely and they don't give fans any kind of warning. But in other news, we got EA is renaming its online store, online access. It was previously known as EA Access on consoles and Origin Access on PC. They're both now just simply going to be renamed EA Play. I mean, I understand that it's only $4.99 a month, but I still don't see the point of EA Access. I mean, most of their games are pretty old. I mean, it just seems like another way for EA to vacuum cash out of our wallets. But I mean, sometimes there is added benefits, you get access to games a little early. Classic titles are in there somewhere, and by classic I mean within the last 5-10 years. Let's see here. Call of Duty Warzone update is going to fix a bunch of the weapons glitches, and it has a ridiculous size. It's going to clock in at about 66 gigabytes. That's just the confirmed size on the Xbox. I don't know what the size will be on the PS4 version. I imagine it'll probably be similar, but I mean, that's the size of some fucking games. There's games out there that are like 20 gigs or 30 gigs, so 66 gigs for an update is crazy. It's nuts. But that's what you gotta look forward to if you want to continue playing the game. I never played it before. I keep hearing good things. I mean, I don't know if I have the fucking hardware space or hard drive space, but I don't know. I might look into it. But Ghost of Tsushima, I have problems with that word. Ghost of Tsushima is the highest selling first party PS4 title in Japan, and its development team is not ruling out the future possibility of online multiplayer for that title. It's a game that I really wanted to play, but I haven't picked it up yet, so that's another title I'm going to have to add to the list. Speaking of titles that were on my list but are not anymore, Halo Infinite's been delayed. This is, unfortunately, Xbox's big killer app for a launch title for their new console. It seems like they're just kind of, pulling back on it, and they're putting all their effort in pushing Game Pass as best as they can. It's just I mean, on a positive note, maybe it's a sign that Xbox is finally putting the games first for once, and not just profit. It seems to be a trend, not just with Xbox but with PS5, that they're just pushing games out at this point. They're just releasing titles early, like even the game that just released, Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what it is. That just released on PC, and it has a whole bunch of bugs and glitches, and they just released a patch for that actually. But it just goes to show you that maybe with this new upcoming generation we won't have such broken games at launch, because the mentality right now seems to be push it out the door, we'll fix it later, and that's kind of shitty for anybody. I mean, like the developer, they worked on this game for potentially years, and we're spending our hard-earned money with them in good faith, and 9 times out of 10 any game has glitches here and there, but it's like they just don't seem to play test titles as well as they did back in the day, or maybe it's so expansive that people are just basically doing it for them. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, to charge $60 for a game that is not 100% complete, yeah, I mean, you might be able to play it through and through, but the truth is, I don't know, man. It's like that's kind of shady to charge someone full price for something that's not complete, and release a patch later. I mean, I know the most infamous one was back with Tony Hawk's 5, I think it was, where they basically released, there was no information on the disc. They just ended up releasing an update on a disc, and that installed onto your console. So it was like anybody who bought that game that didn't have internet access ended up just buying an update that they couldn't put on their console. Excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of where Halo's sitting at now. So I mean, it could be a sign that maybe they're putting the games first, and only time will tell on that. WB Montreal's Batman game will be officially revealed next week. I know a lot of people are saying, who gives a shit, who cares, yada yada yada, but I'm a Batman fan. I like the Arkham games, even Arkham Origins, I liked it. I mean, a shitty pizza is still a pizza, you know what I mean? It's still a fun game to play, and I still enjoyed myself. So it's kind of great though, because they've been taking the beat around the bush path with this game. They've been teasing something for 1 week, and then it's like months of silence, and then they tease something again, and then there's a blackout of information, and it's like something gets leaked, or maybe they leaked it, and yada yada yada. They're finally actually going to reveal this fucking game, and I know other YouTubers like Slickmov have kind of made their channels centered around the Batman games, and it's nice to actually see that all these teases and leaks and information like that channels like Slickmov have had be their feature videos. We'll see if those leaks were any if there was any truth to those leaks. Sorry, I got cold medicine in me, so my mind's kind of trailing off here and there. But anyway, back to the news here. Nintendo Switch was actually the best-selling console of July, so that was really cool. And I guess here comes the part where I talk and rant about Rockstar Games, and I promise I'm going to keep it short. But this week, GTA radio host and longtime writer for Rockstar Games, Laszlo, has left Rockstar after nearly 20 years. Laszlo, most of us who are old enough to remember GTA 3, he was the host of Chatterbox, and most recently in GTA 5, he was the host of Fame or Shame, and in a mission as Michael and Trevor, you chase him down into the viaducts and basically threaten his life, and you make him dance in his underwear, and you tape it as blackmail. Laszlo has always been entertaining in every one of the GTA games. I'm really sad to see him go. I was hoping that maybe, hopefully, maybe if they actually ever release GTA 6, he'll be in there as a radio host, just because it's just funny to listen to him bash people for a couple hours while you're driving around the game. And in more Rockstar bullshit, they are really trying to push the legendary animals hunts, this coyotes, I think, are this week, and the fucking servers don't work. The players that get on there, they actually hunt down these legendary animals, and then they just poof, disappear, and they're disconnected from the server. And it's just, this isn't the most recent update that's causing this. Red Dead Redemption servers have sucked ever since they launched, and Rockstar, for some reason, is completely disconnected from their fan base, and they just don't fix the fucking things. They're comfortable releasing content and weapons and other bullshit to a fan base that can't play it because the servers are screwed up, and they refuse to fix it. But they are always on GTA Online. They get more attention, and they're getting better service to their servers on the GTA Online side than on the GTA or on the Red Dead Redemption side. I mean, for those of you who forget, GTA 5 came out in September of 2013, and a little over a month, like literally a month and a day, the game is going to be 7 years old. And it's getting more attention than the game that came out last year. I mean, it's weird that there was a 5-year gap between GTA 4 and GTA 5, and even in that 5-year gap, we got 2 expansions that expanded the story. Yeah, it was the same map, but it was more story. Now, GTA 5 is content on releasing bullshit updates every month or every 3 months on GTA Online. And it's just like, they're just milking this shit dry. They're gonna have it be on next gen consoles, and it's not even fucking gonna be available at launch. It's gonna be a little over a year, October of next year, before GTA 5 is on next gen consoles. So a year after launch is when we'll get GTA 5 on the newer consoles. I guess it's safe to say that they're going to milk this bitch until the bitter end. So let's just move on, shall we? Lego is making a new Star Wars Christmas special. For those of us who were unfortunate enough to have watched the original, they're remaking it or making a new one, or maybe a sequel to it in the Lego animation style, and it will be available for better or worse in November on Disney Plus exclusively. There's been some concerns on the expansion for the PS5, or maybe even PS4. I don't know if it's exclusive to PS5. But Miles Morales' Spider-Man expansion, there's been concern that it's just going to be like a little update, and it's not really going to be like a full story. But the developer has confirmed that it is going to be a full story arc, full-length game. And it's not labeled as DLC, it's labeled as an expansion, so it's going to be its own separate game disc, I'm assuming, or maybe online tab, or whatever you want to call it. They're saying it's going to be in the wintertime, which I touched on this with the video I did for the PS5 event. So, I mean, the look and style of the map is going to be a little bit different, and maybe there'll be some extra added areas, but we ain't gonna know until it comes out. But you can rest assured that it's gonna be a full-fledged game, full story arc, and that will be coming out, as far as we know right now, for the PS5. And other news with the real-time strategy people of the gamer community out there, Civilization 6 is going to be coming to a phone near you. It's apparently going to be coming out for the Android. It will be free to start on Android. I think it's kind of a bullshit thing to say because, I mean, really what that means is you're going to get 60 free turns to decide whether or not you want to play this game. So I don't know why they can't just release a demo. This is basically the same thing as a demo, but it's going to be a pay-to-continue format is what I'm guessing, is that after your 60 turns are up, the game's going to get locked off to you and you have to pay $19.99, so $20 to unlock and continue playing the game after those 60 turns. And the really shocking part is the DLC, the expansions, are going to cost actually more than the base game. I think this is going to be probably one of the most expensive mobile games I've ever seen. The initial game, as we said, is going to be $19.99. The first expansion, the Rise and Fall expansion, is going to be $30. Gathering Storm expansion is going to be $40. And then for scenario packs and little mini DLCs like that, excuse me, is going to be ranging between $4 to $9. Damn, I mean, that's crazy for a mobile game, but I mean, if people love it, I know people love Civilization. If you want to take it with you wherever you go, maybe that's a feasible thing to you. To me, I can't see spending, that kind of money on a mobile game. I'm sorry, but I'll just wait till I get home to play Civilization or any other kind of real-time strategy. I mean, I got Rome Total War on my phone, and it cost me about $9, I think. I think that's probably the most expensive video game I've ever bought on a mobile platform. Speaking of platform, though, G4 TV is going to be relaunching. And its awesome host and actress Olivia Munn is reportedly in talks to return to the relaunching G4 TV network. Though maybe in my opinion, G4 TV is not, suited for TV as a platform. I think that G4 would probably be better as like a YouTube channel or a web series. Though I love the original, I believe that this relaunch will be awesome, but I have a horrible sinking feeling that the relaunch will end the same way that the original did. I mean, on YouTube, it's almost a no-cost startup, and that the money doesn't come immediately, doesn't come instantly, but, I mean, they're tried and true. G4 TV is, it's pretty good, so, I mean, I think it'll make some money for them. It'll be banging at the start. But I would, if I were them, I would be trying to make the transition to online content because TV is kind of going the way of the dinosaur. Everybody and their mom is on apps right now. Excuse me. Everybody's on apps, and so, cable companies are kind of suffering right now. So, I mean, making that network TV jump probably is not the best idea. So, I think G4 would probably be best as a YouTube channel or a website, where you can go and watch your own or your, what you like. I mean, please don't make another fucking app on it. I don't need another subscription. If it's free, then cool, but I don't want to pay for another application. I mean, I got like freaking 4 of them right now because I only have cable TV because I have so many damn subscriptions. I don't need to watch anything. I got like a little digital converter if I want to watch live TV. So that's as for football, which we're not going to be getting this year. So hip hop hooray. Let's see. In next gen news, there was a leak online of the next gen Xbox controller. It's set to come out on November 6th. Also said that the warranty for the console is said to expire. The actual console itself is said to expire on November 5th, 2021. So this means it's very, very likely that the Xbox console, the Xbox Series X, will launch officially, or not officially, I can't say that. It's likely, very, very likely, that the Xbox Series X will launch on or before November 6th. But without Halo being a huge launch title, this means that the PS5 will likely have the higher launch numbers, which, I mean, may or may not have been the case either way. Though I do believe that the Xbox has better hardware, the PS5 has better software. Console insiders are saying that the PS5 is going to struggle to play games in 4K, and it will likely be a fake 4K upscale, which honestly it's relevant because PS5 has a larger fan base. They have better software, better exclusives. I think the Xbox is, they're kind of dropping the ball with Halo, and it's basically ensuring that PS5's launch will be better. Without Xbox bringing Halo to the table, they're kind of, setting themselves up to already be behind at launch. I would have done anything and everything I could if I were Xbox to make sure that Halo was a launch title. They suddenly announced, we're 2 months away, roughly 2 months away from next-gen consoles launching. So for them to now just say that Halo just is not going to be available at launch, I think is a shitty thing to do. There's people out there that were excited about that game. I'm one of them. I said that the game looks like a current gen title running at a higher refresh rate, and it does, but I'm still wanting to play it. And it just sucks that, it really sucks because they do have the better hardware, in my opinion. So they have the potential there to do something really great, but they're just fucking it up. And I feel that both consoles are not really doing anything exciting from the get-go. Both events for these launch titles, first party, third party, whatever you want to call it, exclusives and the launch titles, the launch console, all that shit, it just wasn't exciting to me. So, there's nothing that made me go, hey, I'm buying that on day one. I'm not buying the PS5 on day one. I'm not buying the Xbox Series X on day one either. I have PS Now. I have the Xbox app on my fucking PC, and I have the Ultimate Game Pass and PlayStation Online. So I don't need it. I don't need this shit. I don't need to go out there and spend anywhere between probably $600 to $800. Maybe the consoles may even be $1,000. If you're sitting there thinking that that's too high, there's people out there that buy new cell phones that are well over $1,000 every year. So you're buying a console for $1,000, but it's going to be basically a specialized computer, specialized PC for you to play games on. That's not really beyond the realm of a possibility here. But going back to the software side here, it's been announced that Splinter Cell's Sam Fisher is going to join Rainbow Six Siege as a Specialist Zero. Unfortunately, Sam Fisher is not voiced by Michael Ironside, and that fucking sucks. And because of that, I'm much less interested in it. We as fans of Ubisoft love their stealth game, and I am interested in a full-on new Splinter Cell game. But I also want Michael Ironside, who was the original voice actor, to come back and be Sam Fisher. Maybe I'm being petty, I don't know, but I bought Blacklist, I have it on my PC, and to date it is the only Splinter Cell game I have never finished. I just couldn't get into it because it was so distracting to hear someone else's voice come out of Sam Fisher. And there was never really given a reason why. At least in Metal Gear, the reason given is that, your spoiler alert here, in Metal Gear you're playing as a clone of Big Boss, not actually Big Boss himself. So the change in voice there couldn't be explained, and even Konami, know that excuse me, that they screwed up, and they're currently in talks to have David Hayter come back and be the voice of Snake for future games, if they even make them. They seem, Konami seems to be more interested in Plinko machines and firing very well-known game directors and designers. They seem to have no interest in making full AAA titles anymore, and it's really unfortunate because I know myself, and I could speak for a very large portion of the gaming community. We're looking forward to Silent Hills, and the fact that Konami had, some egotistical people there. And I'm not saying that Hideo Kojima was innocent in all this. Maybe, Jesus Christ, lady. Please stop stomping on the floor. Jeez, lady. Anyway, I'm not saying that Hideo Kojima is innocent in all this. I mean, certainly the guy has an ego, but the guy made Metal Gear. It's his creation. He thought it up. He made the story, the characters. It's his intellectual property, and he just works for Konami, and they bought the idea off of him, but they didn't let him have his full idea come to fruition. They cut the production of not GTA. I'm going back to Rockstar shit, of Metal Gear Solid 4 or 5. I mean, man, this cold medicine's really kicking in. Metal Gear Solid 5's story was cut short because of Konami's involvement. They had, I know that they're floating the bill for development, but every single Metal Gear game that has ever come out has always been a slam dunk for them, and they should have just given the guy the time and the funding to make a decent game. I think personally the problem was with any Konami game that involved Hideo Kojima is that they announced it way too early, and that's been the case with every game. When Metal Gear Solid 4 was announced, and it was like 2 years before the game came out, that's way too early. The game, I think it was even more than that. I think it might have been 3 years before the game actually came out, and it's like, you need to not do that. A game that premieres at E3 one year should not be at E3 the next year. It just should not be that way. If you announce your game by E3 in 1 year, it should be released that same time. It should be released within 12 months of its announcement. That's my opinion, because you get to the point where you like a game, it looks awesome, but you see it so much, you see so many announcements, so many gameplay videos, that it's just fucking too long. It just takes too long for the game to come out. And it was cool what they did with Metal Gear Solid 5, at least, is that they cut it up into 2 different games. They had the little prologue demo, which they sold at a, they sold it. I think it should have just been for free. It wasn't really even a full-fledged game. You just had a little map, and you did little events, and there was extras in it here and there, but it was just a prologue chapter to a game that was going to come out later. So they kind of gave us a little bit of an appetizer before the main course, and that kind of made it a little bit better this time around for that title. But with the Silent Hills game, man, they seem to go back to the old Konami and Hideo Kojima way of announcing a game long time before it comes out. I think it's kind of crazy that they even announced Death Stranding and the game came out within a year. That was kind of nuts to me. It must have been something that he was developing on the back burner, or maybe that tool that he developed. Excuse me. That tool that he developed to make 3D assets by scanning them. Maybe that paid off and that cut down the development time. But yeah, it was cool to have a game announced and released in a timely manner, I guess is my overall point of that. But that was, back to the Splinter Cell thing. They seem to be, Ubisoft, they kind of seem to be falling back on a lot of their releases. I know Watch Dogs 2 was supposed to have been out by now, and it's not. Skull and Bones is something that they've been teasing for years, and it's still not around. And they keep putting Sam Fisher in as a cameo in all these games, like in Rainbow Six, and he was in fucking Ghost Recon, and it was cool to see him and he was voiced by Michael Ironside in Ghost Recon, which I don't know why he's not voiced by Michael Ironside here. But he needs a full-fledged game. You know, there's cameos are cool and all, but he needs to be in his own game again. And I think the best idea they could do is the original one for Splinter Cell Conviction. That was where it was like an open world game, and for some reason they scaled that back and gave us the Splinter Cell Conviction that we have now, which is only like 4 hours long, and it's damn sure not open world. Still a fun game, still a cool game. I own it. I played through it. I mean, like I said, it takes like 4 hours to beat it, if that. So, yeah, it would have been. I think it would have been better if it was a free roam, you know, fugitive-like story like they were originally planning. But for some reason, it didn't happen. Maybe it was hardware restrictions. Maybe it was time restraints. I don't know. But that's something that we really do need. I think an open world Splinter Cell game with you know, the parkour mechanics of Assassin's Creed and the open worldness of Watch Dogs, as Sam Fisher as the main character, I think would be a slam dunk. But moving on here, we got Dirt 5 has been delayed by a week, and I feel that this is a marketing ploy. But my proof for this is that it was originally set for October 9th. The new date is October 16th. However, if you buy the Amplified Edition, you can play the game 3 days early and play the game on October 13th. I think that they did this just to sell more copies. Maybe, like, you know, they're like, hey, well, you know, we can delay the game a week, but, you know, if they buy the Amplified Edition, they can play the game only like 4 days after it was supposed to originally launch. I don't know what the hell they can do in 4 days or what they need to do in 4 days, but I'm pretty sure that this game has already been fucking printed on discs. Or if it's not printed on disc, I mean, it's gone gold. I can tell you that already. They have a ironed out release date. They're at least, if they're not gold by this point, they're at about 90%. So that game's basically already finished. They already had a release date in mind, and I feel like they just want to push their Amplified Edition, and you can play the game 4 days after it was originally supposed to launch if you buy and pay more. So I think that's kind of bullshit, but that was one thing I wanted to highlight. The Dirt games have always been pretty good. But it just seems like they're kind of trying to pull a marketing stunt here, and get you to buy the Amplified Edition, because there are Dirt fans out there. You know, we know you're out there. We love you, but they're trying to dupe you on this one. But speaking of a little bit of underhandedness here, Crash Bandicoot 4, which everyone, including myself, is happy to see, and I can't wait to play this damn game. But there's some evidence that suggests that inside the source code of the game makes references to Nintendo Switch, which means that maybe one day, sooner or later, that the game will be on the Nintendo Switch console. Right now, it is earmarked for Xbox One and PS4 only, but that'd be cool if it sees a Switch release too. Let's see. What else we have for some gaming news here? I don't think so. I think that's I think that might be it, actually. Yeah, like I said, we usually do about an hour, but I feel like crap, so yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cut a little short today. I'm sorry. I know I've been kind of dealing content out a little bit weird here lately. But there's a reason and a rhyme and a reason for this. My normal 9 to 5 job, I've been getting my ass kicked. There's nobody there. Everybody's either sick or hurt, and now I'm sick and I'm hurting. But yeah, I mean, I've been so busy at my job that I haven't had time to sit down and formulate ideas for games and ideas for videos. So it's just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, and I can actually notice it in my videos when I'm producing them, when I'm editing them, and things like that. I'm just like, it's not up to my standards, but it's like I feel the need that I have to put something out there for you guys. So that Punch Out video, that's why my son was running around in the background. Usually it's quiet and there's background music, and production's a little bit better, but it's something that we kind of just threw together last minute. Like, we were just having a conversation after last week's podcast, like, hey, why don't we just try and beat Punch Out in one life? And so I started out. It was me. I started, and my son was throwing shit all around my man cave down here. So I had the added distraction of having to dodge Glass Joe and the other guy, the next opponent, and I was getting my ass kicked by them because I was paying more attention to my kid than I was the game. Because, like I said, we kind of just threw it together at the last minute. Wayne got pretty far. Obviously, I mean, the Nintendo is not my console. It's not my. I played it when I was a kid, but like I said in that the beginning of that video, that I probably haven't played Punch Out since I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. So it's been over 20 years for me. And I'm actually surprised I didn't get my ass kicked by Glass Joe, even though he's supposed to be like the easiest opponent. But I'm not great at NES games. I mean, normally what I would do is I would end up playing a game till I got frustrated, then I would just turn it off and switch it to something else. There's very few NES titles I've actually ever beat. That is why I've said in the last podcast that I took so long to beat Batman on the NES, because I'm just not an NES player. I love the console. I love it due to its classic nature and what it was as a stepping stone for modern gaming today. But it just wasn't part of, a big part of my childhood like a lot of other gamers, because the console that came out, I want to say, the Sega Genesis and the Super NES came out like when I was a year old. So the NES was already an old console by the time I got to the point to even be old enough to play Sega and Super Nintendo. The NES was already old to me, so I didn't really get into playing the NES until probably around like 8 to 15 years old. That's when I was playing the NES probably the most. And then, my console that I grew up with was the N64 and the PlayStation 1 and 2. Those were the consoles I played the most. So, that's why I suck at NES games. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm just trying to give you guys a reason why I fucking suck at playing NES titles, because I didn't grow up with it. And my brother, he likes to throw little jabs in there because he's a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a bitch. He's a good dude. He's just an asshole like me sometimes. But he's like, hey, you guys fucking suck, and you suck at that time. It's like the dude, he went home. It's like we invited him. We were talking about it while he was still here. Like, hey, why don't we play some Punch Out after this? And he decided to go home. So it's it's easy to look heroic and like the best gamer when you don't show up to compete. You know what I mean? So I really hope that he watches this and that he can come here and show you how good he is on a one life challenge. And that was the whole point of that, is that you go as far as you can. Once you get a KO or a TKO, your life is over. You don't get another shot immediately. And so that was the name of the game. And I know that Dave, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Dave make it all the way to Mike Tyson in one go. He makes it to about the second round of the championships, where he goes through all the dudes, and he gets taken out. And if he does make it to Mike Tyson, I've never seen him beat Mike Tyson. I'm not saying that he never has. I'm just saying I've never seen it happen. But that'd be cool if I could get it on tape. If he wants to put his money where his mouth is, he can come on over here. He can get in front of the camera, and he can beat Mike Tyson in front of everybody, because he seems to be able to want to comment how how bad me and Wayne were. I have an excuse. I mean, Wayne played the game. He said last week he got to Mike Tyson. Wayne is funny as shit because he actually memorized the code to get to Mike Tyson, and he just knows it by heart. He could put it in and he's there. But he said he actually played the game at length about a week before we shot that. But yeah, I mean, Dave, I've seen him beat. I haven't seen him beat Mike Tyson, but I've seen him get that far at least. So it'd be cool to have him on here to actually do a video and show you guys that. But like I said, I suck at NES games and I don't play them very often, but I mean, I would if you guys want me to. Like I said, I'm more of a N64, PS1, PS2 modern gamer. But anyway, I mean, I'm going to end the podcast here. If you guys like content like this, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you hopefully next week. I'll probably release a couple videos. Normally what I've been doing now is I've been releasing a video and then I do a reset podcast on Sunday. I'm going to try and rest up this week. I got a feeling I'm not going to get the chance to because, like I said, I have to go to work. Unless I got the Rona, then I won't be going to work. But I think I just have an ear infection. That's what's messing me up, and I feel like crap. So anyway, I'm going to see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you all stay safe out there, and have a good one. Peace.